One of the things that, I talked to the board and the community about was if we really want to see significant change with our students, we need to empower our staff with the tools to make those changes possible.
Absolutely.
And so I went to the board and said, let's dedicate 1%. Just 1%. 1% of the school district budget dedicated to professional development from this point forward. And that's been the case ever since. And so the way that we look at professional development, it's actually a multi-layered approach to PD, because we know that different teachers are in different places and different students and teachers have different needs. So it's this framework that we've used for a variety of different initiatives. And so again, we're implementing it this year with a set of initiatives that are linked to the vision portrait, but really using that framework of the multi-layered approach to PD.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brighter Together podcast. My name is Janet Courtney, and my special guest today is Dr. Brett Geithman. Brett is the superintendent at Larkspur-Corta Madera Elementary School District in Larkspur, California. And I got it, Brett.
You did get it. Yeah, it's a mouthful. Yes.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, doing really well.
So tell us, what is going on in Larkspur?
Larkspur is an exciting place to be. We're actually 8 miles north of the Golden Gate Bridge. So we're kind of at like the epicenter of technology. So we have a lot going on, right? When you think about, OpenAI in the city, Waymo, you've got Google, Apple, everything is really in the Bay Area. And so a lot of our families, community members are really tied in with innovation and technology. And so, it's just an exciting place to be. So most recently, we embarked on a visioning process that took a little bit more than a year. And it was just really kind of like set that North Star for our district for the next decade or more to come.
Awesome. So what was the impetus that started the vision process? Or was there one?
That's a good question. I think that the school district itself, this is my 9th year here as superintendent. And when I came in, the district had refreshed their strategic priorities. So they had these 6 strategic priorities, and they definitely tested well with our community and resonated with the aspirations for our school district. We had the pandemic, and actually Larkspur-Corta Madera was one of the most successful when it comes to pandemic response. The Learning Policy Institute out of DC actually created a toolkit with us as the exemplar on how do you safely we went back to school right away. We had all of our students back 5 days a week and just did it in a really, safe, thoughtful way. And that really just took a lot of collaboration with our community, our teachers, our staff, our board, and we were really proud of that. And so coming out of the pandemic, and kind of seeing how the landscape continues to change with education, we thought, a few years after, why don't we embark on this visioning process and really have a very, I don't want to say, I guess intense is probably the best word, an intense campaign to really gather as much stakeholder feedback and input as we can to ensure that our schools are representing what our community values and aspirations are. And so we started that in 2024, and it was board approved December of 2024. And then our strategic plan to follow was approved in June of 25. So this is really like the first year rollout of it.
Wow. Yeah. And so people know it is September 24th, 2025, because this will come out probably in November. So I always want to make sure people know that, we're talking about this now, but you guys are going to be 2 months into it probably when it comes out, which is great. So can you give us like a framework of what it is and how you guys plan on implementing it?
Absolutely. So the first stage was really identifying, first stage was actually just a research stage. It was what framework fits well with us and aligns with research and priorities that we have within the district. So people are probably familiar with the graduate profile. I think that's kind of a common thing that you see, especially in high schools. And so we saw that, we liked that. But as we continued digging into exemplars, what we found was this portrait framework. And so it comes out of, I saw it in Portland School District, Napa Valley, Long Beach, a number of other districts. And I started to see it more and more in different districts. And so I wanted to research where it came from, because what it basically is the only way I can, describe it is it's basically taking your graduate profile and putting it on steroids. And
Okay.
so it was Prospect Studios out of San Francisco. It's an all-women owned design thinking firm out of the city that created this framework. Our lead that we partner with, Dr. Hoveden, she has her PhD in AI, so
Oh,
deep
wow.
into like current trends as well as innovation and design thinking. And so the way that the framework is laid out is you have a student portrait, and the student portrait represents the elements of knowledge, skills, and dispositions you want your graduates to have in high school and beyond.
Okay.
Now, and I'll share kind of how the process works, but that's what the graduate portrait is. And this is kind of where it starts to level up. Then you have the adult portrait around that. And in the adult portrait, it says, okay, so if you want certain things to be true for your students, what knowledge, skills, and dispositions must the adults have to work with those students successfully?
Oh,
So it
okay.
identifies what
Very
are the
good.
elements of that. Then
Mm-hmm.
here's the next layer is that now you take a look at the system. So then what are the things within the system that might need to change to support the adults to actualize the graduate portrait?
Okay.
And so it's
Gotcha.
the way that these circles work together. I know that we're on like a screen right now, but there is like I have some visuals for this. I could just throw it up real quick. That's
Oh,
what it
yeah.
ultimately ends
Okay.
up looking like. Yeah. So you have an icon that represents each element of that. So where the design thinking comes in is that you work with a variety of stakeholder groups to start kind of this process of sharing their, I guess, input, so to say, on what are those knowledge, skills, and dispositions. And you go through this process of like future studies and these different things.
Okay.
But ultimately, it ends up creating this, and it goes through these different versions. We had what's called a guiding coalition, so like a lead team on this that
Okay.
was comprised of, trustees, administrators, teachers, parents, former students, current students, business leaders, city government, everybody that you could imagine who were kind of or not kind of, who are taking in the information from those stakeholder engagement sessions, creating prototypes for those elements that you saw in those icons, going back, getting more information, bringing it back. So kind of this like accordion process until we got it to where our portraits matched what our app community was looking for.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, so it was really a phenomenal process. I mean, again, having students involved, parents, former parents, anyone you could think of within our community was involved in the process. And as far as we know, it's been the most, extensive stakeholder engagement process the district has done in decades. So it's something that we're really proud of and feels like it truly represents what our community hopes for our schools.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing because if you have community engagement, it makes your job easier, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. When you think about a vision, setting it at that, you might wonder why 2036. Well, 2036, setting a vision 10 or 12 years out
Mm-hmm.
allows people to become more creative, allows
Okay.
people to dream bigger. So if you set it like
Oh,
3 to 5 years, people really hold back. And so we definitely saw that dreaming big when it came to our vision.
And it's really interesting that you say that too, because at Lighthouse we use the EOS entrepreneurial operating system for our company, and we're actually working on goals for quarter 2. I actually had 2 meetings today that were our
Hmm.
HR department and our recruiting department, and it's the same kind of thing that you're talking about. But we did the 1 year, then we did the 3 year, and then actually we had a 1 year and a 5 year, and then we've just kind of moved that 5 year up as we've gotten every year a little bit. But we
Hmm.
also have a 10 year, which is the one where like if we could have and do anything, let's dream as big as we can be. And then the amazing thing that happens when you do that, and I think this is what you're getting to, I don't mean to preempt you, but
Oh, no.
is the fact that, wow, last year we had the year before we had 2,200 kids, which isn't a small amount. Last year we had 2,700. We were a couple short,
That's
but that was
great.
our goal. Well, that was our goal. We are
Yeah.
over 2,200 kids right now, and our goal is 5,000. And so, it's like you get people to see the vision and to dream big and to move in that direction. And it's
Hmm.
incredible. So I totally am on board with what you guys are doing. And I get it. I totally get it. So.
Yeah,
Very
no, I
cool.
appreciate you sharing that. I think it really highlights kind of, I think we have a lot of alignment here. Like you have that long-term vision, but then you
Hmm.
have your strategic plan for that like
Yeah.
3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And that was an important component after this because you saw, I mean, this, if anyone went on our website, like the documents associated with our vision, they're like very polished, very I mean, you can like very
Hmm.
well done, right?
Right.
And it looks great. But a vision, yeah, it's neat, it looks cool, but at the same time, it doesn't do anything if it just sits on that piece of
Right.
paper on your website.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
what our job, yeah, was really to form this team and build a strategic plan to then outline so for the first 5 years of the vision, here are the steps we're going to take towards it. And we have
Right.
metrics and reporting timelines, and so we're pushing out that at the same time as well. So it really aligns with what you're talking about.
Are you struggling to keep speech therapy fully staffed or tired of high turnover? You're not alone. At Lighthouse Therapy, our speech language pathologists are seasoned professionals, and most of them have over 16 years of school-based experience. They're not just qualified, they're consistent, relational, and results-driven. We offer 3 flexible delivery models: virtual therapy, hybrid therapy, and in-person therapy. It's speech therapy done right for you and your students. Learn more at lighthouse-therapy.com/brighter together. Yeah. And you're going to implement things, and then you're going to look at it and go, okay, we met these goals, but we missed here. So how do we fix that? How do we make that piece? And then what's next? What's the next quarter going to look like? What's the next year going to look like? You just keep, and as long as you got everybody going in the same direction, which it sounds like you do, you got your whole community behind you. That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And the kids are the ones who are going to win, right? You're going to have better graduation rates, right? Fantastic.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow. So you're implementing, you're starting, this is your first year, 2025?
It is. So this is the first year. So our strategic plan is 2025 through 2030. And then we have 2 to 3 times per year that we're reporting out those metrics to show progress towards it. And the way it interacts with the vision itself is, remember I talked about the system portrait? Like those elements of the things that we can actually change, the levers of change to actualize. So the entire strategic plan is grounded in each element of the system portrait. So we took each element, okay, what do we want to do here? What does that look like? Now let's backwards map it. So it was a great process to go through, and we had a diverse group of staff working with us on it. And it's, rolling it out. And even having my next meeting after this is directly aligned to the strategic plan. So
fantastic. So so professional development, I'm assuming, for your teachers. How is that? Is that the first one of the first steps, or did that already happen as well?
Yeah, there's a variety of things when it comes to professional development. When I came on board to the district, I took a look at the budget, and 0.25% was dedicated to professional development. The district was in a challenge in terms of, budget and just overall like fiscal strain. And so one of the things that, I talked to the board and the community about was, if we really want to see significant change with our students, we need to empower our staff with the tools to make those changes possible. And so I went to the board and said, let's dedicate 1%, just 1%. Give me 1% of the school district budget dedicated to professional development from this point forward. And that's been the case ever since. And so the way that we look at professional development, it's actually a multi-layered approach to PD, because we know that different teachers are in different places and different students and teachers have different needs. So it's this framework that we've used for a variety of different initiatives. And so again, we're implementing it this year with a set of initiatives that are linked to the vision portrait, but really using that framework of the multi-layered approach to PD.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. So what is your ultimate goal? Like at the end of 2036, where is Larkspur going to be?
Where's Lark? That's a great question. I think Larkspur is going to be in a place where our kids are confident our kids are definitely confident going into high school, right? And our kid, like if you looked up our, test scores and student outcomes, like they're very positive. but not every single student, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like in 2036, I would want majority, if not all students going to high school confident that they're equipped with the skills that they can name. They're going to make them successful in high school and beyond. I also really take a look at like we survey and engage with our families a lot. So I want those survey data to be off the charts in terms of parent satisfaction, student satisfaction, teacher and staff satisfaction with everything happening in the district, right? And so,
Right.
I want us to be an outlier district. I want us to be that district that, um, has innovative practices and we do have those innovative practices. And now how do we share those, right? How do we continue to innovate, share those practices and scale up? Because every student deserves high quality education.
Yeah,
And so if we
absolutely.
can be a part of it anyway, I think that's great. You know, I kind of look back to the whole COVID thing. I was happy to, take the COVID times. Everybody was so busy, especially working in schools, but to sit down with, Learning Policy Institute and California Collaborative of Educational Excellence and really like unpack what we were doing with the hopes that that would serve as a toolkit to help other school districts.
Right.
That was where, I mean, that's like we're in it for all the students, not just the ones in our district.
Yeah. Love that. I love that. That is the thing that I have seen over and over and mentioned. It's been a theme today too, as I've talked to people, to other people that I talk to. And it's just like none of the people that I talk to are like, this is mine. Don't take it from me. Every single leader in education is so amazing and willing to share what they've learned, their knowledge, where they've been successful, where they failed.
Mm-hmm.
It's just astounding to me that, just the collaboration and the willingness to just be out there, almost any other industry. It's like, nope, this is proprietary. You leave it alone. You can't have it. You
Right.
can't see it. Right. And that's totally not what happens in education. And it's fantastic. It's just beautiful. I'm so proud of you
Absolutely.
guys.
Yeah, no, it's a great space to be in, and it's one of those things where, again, all of us got into this career to support kids,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not
Mm-hmm.
just a certain group of kids, it's all kids.
And you have Silicon Valley in your backyard, literally in your
Pretty
backyard.
close. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
which is the other thing when I asked you that question, I was also thinking, boy, we're at the infancy, of AI, but it is, I mean,
Hmm.
and it's probably some people would say maybe it's been born and it's a toddler. I don't know. I'm not the expert in AI for sure, and it's cool. I'd love to talk to that woman that has her doctorate in AI. Wow, what an amazing thing!
Yeah.
But yeah,
Fascinating.
but it's just going to continue, right? What's it going to be like in 2036? That's basically 11 years from now. What's school going to look like then? How many of the things that we have and the way we teach now, you just have to. I mean, schools have got to adapt. And I know you guys are, absolutely. But it's just
Hmm.
because it's like there's so many of the things that, and I've had people say, well, the basics are still important. And yeah, they absolutely are. But you got to teach kids how to think, because,
You do.
yeah.
And I think that that's one element, like when I think about our, system portrait itself, it's that dynamic and engaging learning experiences. And
Mm-hmm.
also like the critical thinking aspect was,
Mm-hmm.
highly, evident in this. And so think that that leads into some of these technology advances that we're seeing, including AI, which is actually, that's my next meeting. So when I said, hey, I'm, going to be doing work directly associated with 2036, it's because my next meeting is really with our AI leads throughout the district. And we've just started that this year. We had an inquiry group last year. We partnered with a expert. His name is Henry Jin. He's Harvard and Berkeley grad and has a startup in San Francisco, and he's awesome. And so we've been working closely with him to, as an admin team and then out to teachers, and it's been a really amazing experience. And it's just, again, nice to have people like that in your backyard.
Yeah, yeah. And forward thinking. You guys, obviously, you guys are
Hmm.
very forward thinking, and you have to be because I graduated 40 years ago. The high school that I graduate doesn't look anything like high school 40 years
Right.
later. It just is, it's, and even 20, I mean, you don't even have to go back 40 years, go
Hmm.
back 20 years. And it's just, it's astounding how much, technology and, even when I graduated with my master's degree, the internet was just like that's a thing. I remember there's this
Hmm.
thing called the internet, and no AI wasn't even AI was science fiction at that point. It was just science fiction. And here we are.
Absolutely. And here we
So,
are.
and here we
Yeah.
are. So fantastic. Okay. So one more question for you.
Sure.
And you can't say money because everybody wants more money. We all need more money.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So if you could miraculously solve one problem that you have right now in
Hmm.
your world, what would it be?
Hmm.
Just it's gone,
Equity
it's fixed.
gaps.
You never equity gaps. There you
Equity
go.
gaps.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Like that's our number one goal in the district. That's the number one, I think, through line that I've seen throughout my career is equity gaps in terms of achievement, in terms of engagement, in terms of belonging.
Yeah.
If we could solve that, I think we'd all be in a better place.
Amen. That's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Brett, where do people go if they want to find your
Hmm.
strategy and talk to you about this amazing process?
Yes, the best place to go is lcmschools.org. That's our website. And you'll see right when you get to that homepage, you'll see where our vision is. Again, Prospect Studios was our partner right out of San Francisco. So good place to be.
Awesome. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you, Brett, for your time. Thank you for your
Thank you so
vision
much.
and thank you for what you're doing for your kids. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.